Welcome to Reimagining Learning. This is a new chapter in our IB journey. I'm Divya Menon, and with me is Ms. Sheila Chako. She is the head of Cochin International School with an experience of over 35 years in teaching and very closely associated with the IB philosophy and learning curriculum. She has been a mentor to many teachers over her learning career, and she's been a mentor to all of us in this institution as well. As the head of school, she has been instrumental in bringing about a lot of developments that have recently taken place in the IB PYP. And as Cochin International School is now preparing to take on its IBDP certification, we are very pleased and honored to have Ms. Sheila with us today. Ma'am, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Divya. My pleasure.
Okay, to begin with how this is going about, let's start with an overview. What do you think was the reason IBO made all of these refinements or changes in the IB-PYP framework in recent years? What do you think inspired these changes?
Yeah, see, change is inevitable. And for any change, especially with education, there has to be a continuum.
Right.
So probably IB, through their research and findings, always have this practice of analyzing the gaps.
Okay.
And these analysis led to these changes. So to build a continuum from PYP to MYP to DP in all aspects of teaching learning, this new changes in PYP is introduced.
All right.
That is first. Second, the changes in PYP can also help a student to change the curriculum. So it also takes care of other curriculums. Suppose a child after PYP wants to take up a CBSE program,
right,
or the child wants to take a Cambridge program, or child wants to take an ICSE program in India. I think this PYP change can help them.
Right.
For smooth transition to even national boards.
Oh.
So I think IB takes care of national boards in all their practices and standards.
Okay.
And they propagate that any school in any country who is taking up IB curriculum, national goals and national aspirations have to be aligned with IB.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one way I foresee that changes in IB are always for taking the nations together also. They don't want to work in isolation.
And so would you say these are the new elements that they are bringing about, or did they exist already?
No. So in the course of time only these new elements get added.
Okay.
It's not abruptly done.
Right. There's always a period of transition.
There is always a continuum. There is always a progression. And as countries also change their educational policies and their programs, IB also focuses on that.
Okay.
So, I'm pleased to see this change at the PYP level.
Okay. And you think that PYP is the focal point of where all the changes come through from the PYP?
Yes. Okay. And you're preparing your children for global citizenship.
Right.
So my grade 4 child today, if he is studying in Cochin, maybe tomorrow he will be studying in New Zealand.
Right.
So that is also one way of looking at it.
So how do you think these changes align with IB's focus on inquiry-based learning?
A very good question. See, IB focuses on natural instinct of a child, and anybody can outrightly say what is an instinct of a child? To be curious.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So curiosity is the basis of learning, and that curiosity is what we call as inquiry from inside.
Right.
So we are just channelizing the natural curiosity into inquiry based.
Okay.
So that's what the inquiry is, the focus.
Okay. And we've talked about a number of changes happening. What are these changes happening and how are they being implemented in the classrooms of this particular institution?
For example, there are different layers to this implementation of change. See, one is IB wants cross-disciplinarity across continuum.
Right.
So how they focus is PYP is transdisciplinary, MYP goes with interdisciplinary, and DP goes with inter and multidisciplinary.
Okay.
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 So for a curriculum to be a transdisciplinary, what is that we need to? You have to introduce disciplines.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is why disciplines are introduced.
Right.
Like social sciences, mathematics, English. So they are all disciplines. And these disciplines are having specific contents. Okay. Now the content has a central idea, essential idea. We call it as concept. So there is discipline, that is knowledge. Content is your knowledge. So knowledge has a central concept.
Right.
So what is IB focusing in PYP? That knowledge, which is concept based, has to start from this level of learning.
And how do they connect to that particular concept, central idea or concept? How does a curriculum pan out, or say a lesson? How do we plan that lesson?
So how you plan it? Suppose you are teaching a concept of energy. Okay. Now, I cannot just say what is energy. So maybe I will use disciplines. Maybe just like a discipline like English. Now, what is the meaning of the word energy?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. In social studies, what is energy? In science, what is energy? In mathematics, how you represent energy?
Right.
So the word energy is a concept. And you have a central idea based on that. You have a theme based on that. You have sustainable development goals based on that.
Yes.
Okay. Now a teacher is free to choose any discipline to keep the concept of energy, not necessarily science.
Right.
So if I am not a science teacher, I am a social science. I am a teacher of humanities, or my training is in humanities. I will use energy from that angle.
And you bring it into the class. Weave it into the central idea.
Weave it into the class through your lessons. And it could be activity, it could be field trip, it could be role plays, it could be, I can talk about energy. Say, I can make one child sun, moon,
right,
star,
as simple as
wind, air. Let them speak about it. Energy.
Interesting. So, how does this translate from the classroom to making the children internationally minded?
Yeah.
How do they go make that transition?
International mindedness has three elements. One is building multiple perspectives. One of the most important things is building multiple perspectives. And one way of building multiple perspective is through this kind of transdisciplinary teaching.
Right.
See, your point of view is your point of view. Whether we accept it, whether we have agreement or disagreement, it itself is critical thinking.
Right.
You have taken, so you're building that kind of skill by introducing a multiple perspective angle to international mindedness. Okay, I'll give you an example. Shakkar is a word which we use for carbohydrate in Hindi.
Right.
Sugar. Now, from where this word saccharine has come? What is the root word?
Shakkar. Etymology.
Okay. So, a child is also able to understand how a trade of saccharine, you are trading a saccharine. Okay, I want to sell saccharine to a local community in India. So that particular person, if he says ये शक्कर ही है, जिसको हम अंग्रेजी में saccharine और इसमें
sugar कहते हैं,
people will feel closeness to that.
So it's taking the global perspective and putting it in the local context. Yes.
And that is the beauty of what we call as international. You are creating a global mindedness using a local context.
Right. Okay. Now, in case of this particular IB, PYP as well as DP curriculum, there have been a lot of changes in their assessment policies and all of that. Can you elaborate a little about that? What are the changes that have been recently made?
One thing which I like about IB is it's assessment of skills, and it is more criteria based. So IB is focusing more on criteria based assessment, because then only you focus on skills.
Correct.
If it is norm based, then we generally focus on only what the child knows as a content, how much information or what is the content is.
Right.
But if we focus on criteria, we are actually focusing on approaches to learning, thinking
Right.
skills, this skills, those skills, creative skills, problem solving skills. So I
Research.
think assessment is moving towards skill based assessment.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Is there any difference between how they conducted it before in the IB curriculum itself versus how they're doing it now? Or has it
There
always
is
been
not
the case?
much of a difference. They actually always were, IB was always a propounder of skill-based assessment. But today the need is what is actually propelling IB to make it more stronger. The need of the hour or the need of the market.
Mm-hmm.
That is making the curriculum more stronger
Right.
and more acceptable. That's why people today want to have IB education, because it's more skill based.
Right.
Now you see in IB, child starts research in PYP.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And he's completely ready by DP. What is research? So universities, for them, university is such a
piece of cake.
Piece of cake, and it's a transition is so easy, because otherwise we all learned research skills in our PG program.
Correct. Yes.
So market based or market demand is taken into consideration. What kind of people we need now to take the world forward? That is what our assessments are also focused on.
And so you say that these are some of the biggest benefits that
Biggest benefits.
True, that makes sense. Yeah,
Yes.
because if the more the child is already oriented towards doing his own homework and research, the more he's actually
he's acquiring skills.
Absolutely. And how do you see this being implemented for the long term, for the short term? Do you think it's going to be very effective?
We have to implement it forever.
Okay.
Okay, shouldn't be short term or long term. First step should be in any school or anybody. See, when you are given a content or a concept, now from the teacher point of view, we should actually identify, if I am teaching this content with these concepts, what are the skills? So we need to identify the skill first.
Right.
First identify the skill and then map your approaches.
Oh.
And then use a method. We do the otherwise.
Yeah. So you're saying we go backwards.
You go backward.
Right.
This is the concept I am teaching. These are the skills required to learn it. We call it as learning objectives in a common language
Absolutely.
of education. Now, based on this objective, what should be my approach to teaching?
Right.
Okay. Then I decide the method. So identify the skill first. Is this topic content more towards problem solving skill, critical thinking skill? Plan your ATLS accordingly.
Right. So you're saying that these changes effectively prepare the IB-PYP students, not just for MYP, but for
Across.
DP, and you're saying across.
Across.
Can you share, maybe draw what are the parallels and maybe the differences between the CBSE, ICSE versus the IB? I mean, what's similar and what's different?
See,
in that case?
in national curriculums which you mentioned, see, student autonomy and voice and choice is much less.
Yes.
Okay, now PYP has an exhibition. My child can choose anything. Okay, so what basic difference is student learners' autonomy, which actually IB celebrates it.
Absolutely.
Rest is, if you give an autonomy to a learner, then the curriculum flows. Now, when you don't give an autonomy to a learner, even the choice of subjects sometimes in CBSE and all is so difficult.
Absolutely. Yes.
They have to, just go with the subjects what they are offering.
Correct.
Okay, so sometimes that choice and voice, if we curtail, I think the curriculum becomes very watertight.
Right. Okay, that was really a lot of information to process together. But I think this is where we need to start wrapping it up. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your time, for all these wonderful insights, for taking us through the transition from the PYP, how it helps us with the MYP, the DP. And to the viewers who are tuning in, this is Divya Menon and Miss Sheila Chacko signing off. Thank you very much for being a patient audience. See you. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.